With time, connotations attach themselves to words, clinging and solidifying with each new utterance and each new inscription. A new day, however, constantly brings with it the possibility of change. Small breakthroughs and additions to words that, in a world of multiplying contexts, make all the difference. Change is exactly what Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 brings to the word pilgrim. Usually, a pilgrim is identified as a person who, driven by religious passion, makes a life-changing journey to a place renowned to be sacred. On what would have been Dr. Jose Rizal's 150th year of existence, the word pilgrim is treated to a slight modification. A pilgrim remains to be an individual on a journey initiated by passion. But this time around, it is passion for history that gives the pilgrim's feet purpose. The people behind Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 find seeing the Philippines through Rizal-tinted glasses the most fitting way to celebrate the 150 years that have passed since Rizal graced the world with his noble presence. With his heroic character in mind, their encouragement for locals and tourists to visit the 27 sites all over the Philippines becomes more than an invitation to travel. It is an invitation to marvel at both the accumulated history beneath Philippine soil that wears its history proudly on its sleeve, as well as the heights a Filipino can reach. For all intents and purposes, a tour of the Philippines and the destinations that were of significance to the national hero is a tour that aims to make his time more real to his present-day admirers. Knowing this fully well, the Department of Tourism, the Heritage Conservation Society, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the Intramuros Administration, and the National Parks Development Committee have made this past reality their business. Beginning with the project's launch held at the newly restored Rizal Relief Map One-Stop Heritage Trail in Ermita. The map, once left untended, was in its full glory for the launch in May. The effort to rekindle the people's love for history having extended its effect over national parks as well. The trail provided the visitors with an overview of all the places Rizal visited in his lifetime and all the places they were to visit in the near future. Without a doubt, it was a morning teeming with images in harmony with the occasion. Birds flying high in the air, Rizal's resemblance standing dignified, Philippine flags waving with the wind, and the Kalumon performing in song, dancing the dances of their people, the movement of their hands and feet, a fitting physical expression of all the different cultures that the national hero helped to free. Faithful to the adventure-filled spirit of the project, the launch organizers gave the visitors' pilgrimage a jump start, taking the Intramuros-based sites by storm. After the opening at Ermita's Heritage Trail, the visitors made their mini journey through the Philippines' famous walled city streets, highlighting the destinations of exception in a place where each alley seems to have a story to tell. A steady stream of people filled the waiting trolleys and jeepneys, each vehicle bearing emblems of nationalistic pride, as if keeping their motives faithful to their purpose that day. Without a doubt, the first stop of this pilgrimage was a place of the utmost sacredness in terms of Rizaliana sites, the Rizal Monument. A bronze statue of the hero, an obelisk towering above it, and a pedestal below where the hero's remains are kept safe. The first stop set the mood for Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150, with a quiet respect that carpeted the grounds evenly like a blanket, covering even tourists with a simple calm, thus completing the Rizal Monument experience. The next stop of the pilgrimage was a food pit stop. Waiting for the launch visitors was a feast bearing the name Almusal na mga pagkain ni Dr. Jose Rizal, or Breakfast of Dr. Jose Rizal's dishes. So called because of the menu that featured the national hero's particular gastronomic weaknesses. Included in the buffet breakfast were such local delicacies as chocolate, a thick, strong brew of hot chocolate that Rizal mentions in his novel, Noli Me Tangere. Pancit Miki, a dish of fresh egg noodles, vegetables, and spicy chorizos. And Paksiw na Ayungin, a tasty soup viand made with ayungin or silver perch, a type of fish found only in the Philippines. Everyday Filipino meals such as the chicken soup tinola, the savory pork adobo, and sardinas secas or tuyo were crowd favorites, with even the Philippine national hero having once craved the sights, smells, and tastes of these Filipino soul food dishes. The next part of the mini journey was a jeepney tour. Each jeepney had a tour guide, calling out the names of places like a good guide would. It was a ride designed to reawaken the layers of national pride and history that lay in wait beneath the city's cobbled streets. The jeepney's first landing was on the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila, or the University of the City of Manila. Now a place of learning, the site was once the barracks of Spanish soldiers during their occupation of the city. As such, it was on these historical grounds that the national hero was tried, tested, and found guilty by the very same people he desired to assimilate with. Second on the jeepney's route was the original site of the Ateneo Municipal de Manila, the place where Rizal spent many happy years, as he is quoted to have said. Stepping onto these places where Rizal was tested as a man and a child, the launch visitors' imaginations were helped along generously by the stories told of each place. Without a doubt, as the visitors made their way onwards from the old Ateneo campus to Fort Santiago, an image of the old Philippines was rebuilt brick by brick, alive again in their minds with each bit of history shared about the buildings speeding past. Fort Santiago is a rare breed. It is one of those special places that seem to be ageless, almost untouched by the passing of the years. The fort today remains impressive, its stone walls emanating a sense of power and authority that speaks of the old world. It is there that the visitors of Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150's launch saw the bronze markers of Rizal's footsteps on his way to the place he would last see. Following these footsteps, the visitors filled the paths of Fort Santiago, its grounds milling with people as they did in the time of Rizal. First on their list of places to see was the Silid ng Nalalabi, or the Reliquary Room. Within the room's dimly lit walls, relics of the life he lived were housed. Instruments, clothing, evidences of his work and his discoveries as a scientist, as well as an urn containing a preserved bone of Rizal, a bullet forever lodged inside. Right beside the reliquary room was the Chamber of Text, or Bulwagan ng Panulat. As described by its name, the chamber was a room populated with words. Here, especially lit replicas of the original manuscripts of two of his greatest works, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, took precedence. A different story is told just below the room of words and the room of relics. In a bare rectangular space, an illusion of lights and mirrors recreate the prison cell the national hero spent his last days in. The last stop of the mini journey through Intramuros was Paco Park. It was a fitting end to the launch visitors tour, for contained within its grounds was the stone crypt where Rizal's remains stayed for a short period of time, resting among other luminaries in Philippine history. Coming full circle, the tour began with a visit to Rizal's interred remains and ended with a visit to his first resting place. A decorated passport in any country qualifies as a sign of many voyages. A decorated passport in the context of Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 is no different. To add further incentives to would-be pilgrims, the associations behind Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 came up with the Rizal Passport Rubber Stamp Project. On its cover is a profile of Jose Rizal and the words Pilipinas Pasaporte, Philippine Passport. As the use of passports go, going to a Rizaliana site gets a stamp on the passport, thus making the pilgrimage a true experience in travel. And indeed, Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 prizes interest and initiative. The first 100 pilgrims with complete stamps on their passports receive a token and the honor of being given the title Alakbay ni Gat Jose Rizal, fellow traveler of Jose Rizal. To be a fellow traveler of Jose Rizal is to visit the sites scattered all over the archipelago, covering 6 regions and 27 locations. From Manila, all roads are ripe for the picking. It is only a matter of choosing which site to explore first. Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150's first stop in Central Luzon is quite literally a travel stop. The San Fernando train station is a setting that attracts historical significance. Indeed, it is in this train station in the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, that Jose Rizal once disembarked on the 27th of June, 1892, on his way to visit his friends in the city, landing with the high hopes of recruiting members to the La Liga Filipina. His recruitment mission earned him a welcome stay at the Bautista House in Malolos, Bulacan, in the Camestizohan district, incidentally, the next stop for Region 3. The Camestizohan district is home not only to the Bautista House, but to the women of Malolos Marker as well. There stands the site of the School of the Women of Malolos, to whom Rizal wrote in his famous letter of February 22, 1899, "Let us be reasonable and open our eyes, especially you women, because you are the first to influence the consciousness of man." The first site to be found in Region 4 is the first place Jose Rizal knew of the world, the ancestral house of the Rizal family where he was born. Today, it is the pride and joy of Calamba, Laguna, the Jose Rizal Shrine, where a replica of the original house stands as a monument where the man that would be the national hero was shaped. What remains of the original site is a deep well that, for visitors of this famous Philippine landmark, has become a so-called wishing well that sits just 20 meters away from the burial grounds of Rizal's parents, Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso. Across the Jose Rizal Shrine is the Calamba Church, also called the San Juan Bautista Church. It was here that an infant Jose Rizal was baptized by Father Rufino Collantes. The third and last site to be found in the region of Calabarzon is another landmark from the national hero's childhood years. The National Shrine of Our Lady of Peace and Good Voyage in the city of Antipolo. The one and only stop for the region of Bicol is the first of its kind. Built 2 years after Jose Rizal's execution in 1896, the Rizal Monument of Diet Camarines Norte is the first monument to be erected in the national hero's honor. The site upon which the monument is built is the site of the last stand of the revolutionaries as they fought for the city of Diet. Popularly known as the Feminist Church, with its 16 statues of female saints standing inside its walls, the Molo Church of Iloilo City is one of the 2 stops in the region of Western Visayas. In Central Visayas, there is a stretch of road they call the Rizal Boulevard. It is the very same path upon which Rizal was said to have taken a brief stroll before traveling by boat towards his exile. The Rizal Boulevard is one of the 27 sites of Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 that is currently used as a popular place of recreation. Its wide expanses and its nearness to the sea makes it a crowd favorite in Dumaguete. The second Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 site to be found in Central Visayas is the Fort of San Pedro in the city of Cebu. As may be gathered from its name, the Fort of San Pedro was a military defense of the Spanish Army, one in which Rizal was taken custody during a stopover of the SS España, Rizal's boat, on his journey back to Manila. In Zamboanga del Norte lies Dapitan, the city in which Rizal spent 4 years of his life in exile. As such, it is a city filled with places upon which Jose Rizal left his mark. It is a place that serves as a prime example of the change the national hero was capable of bringing about. First on the list of places to visit is the Rizal Shrine. Like the Jose Rizal Shrine in Calamba, Laguna, the Rizal Shrine of Dapitan is located in what was once his place of residence, the estate in Dapitan, bought with a winning lottery ticket. Visiting the shrine, one gets a feel of what it would have been like to see Rizal during his time there. With replicas of all the structures he had built sitting in their original positions as if no time had gone by. These replicas include the Casa Residencia, the Miretiro Rock, the waterworks he built, and the Rizaliana Museum, housing artifacts and replicas of the things he used and created during his exile. Rizal brought changes inside and outside his estate. Beginning with the beautification of the Dapitan Plaza, Rizal transplanted the beautiful places he saw in Europe onto the streets of Zamboanga del Norte. For Dapitan, his home of 4 years, he created a relief map of Mindanao. Considered today to be a national cultural treasure, at the time of its conceptualization, it was thought of as an aid for the locals' awareness of the country's geography and history. In the region of Zamboanga del Norte, Rizal's influence spread past the lengths of Dapitan City to the capital, Dipolo. The Dipolo Cathedral's altars were of Rizal's own design and are kept preserved to this day. Kept fresh to this day as well is the Rizal Farm in the municipality of Katipunan, another stop for Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150. The Zamboanga Peninsula's list of Rizaliana sites does not end there. One can also visit the site of the Casa Real, where Jose Rizal was first housed before being taken to Talisay. The Dapitan Church, where Rizal attended Mass every Sunday for 4 years. And the Punto del Desembarco de Rizal and Dapitan of Santa Cruz Beach, where Rizal's boat first landed, giving him his first sight of Dapitan City. With the walking tours and the elegant buffet breakfast, the Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 launch was an experience that engaged all the senses, providing visitors with a glimpse of what the rest of the destinations on the trail had to offer. Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 is a project that without a doubt gives people something to talk about. It is tourism that places the highest of values on Philippine history, taking the first step to keeping the Philippine heritage relevant. Jose Rizal remains relevant to this day. From any perspective, he was a man whose contribution knows no bounds, and Lakbay Jose Rizal at 150 is a mere revisiting of this inherent value. It is a manifestation of awe at the transformation of words into action. It is an expression of gratitude to a man who helped change the consciousness of the Filipino people. Most of all, it is a show of admiration for a man who committed his life to the right.